Day report.
And good evening, I'm Steve Bergen, and we have just returned from the Brushy Mountain State Prison in Petros, where last night 7 prisoners escaped, among them James Earl Ray. Ray is still at large, but one of the men who escaped with him was recaptured today. 27-year-old David Powell was apprehended early this afternoon while walking down a road 8 miles from the prison. Powell, who is serving 100 years for murder, did not resist arrest. Here's a report on today's search and last night's escape. 7 inmates went over the back wall at the Brushy Mountain Prison around 7:30 last night with a makeshift wire ladder, but one only made it 100 yards beyond the facility. Jerry Ward was hit by a shotgun blast as he climbed the 14-foot wall. The others fled up the mountain, probably in 2 or 3 separate groups. Among them was James Earl Ray, the convicted assassin of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. The scene at the prison immediately following the escape was somewhat chaotic. There was no organized search except for that done in-house by correction officials. Knoxville authorities had no confirmation of the prison break until around 10 p.m. Correction officials said the escape obviously was well planned. Jim, can you point out here to me where the men escaped?
I just thought they went over this area right here. This wall is approximately 12 to 16 feet in height, and it has a 3200-volt wire running across it. There was a small opening in that wire. They went through that.
Okay, now, which one of these guard shacks saw the men escaping?
The guard shack here saw the escape. Of course, the men were in the yard with horseshoes or recreational time. There was a disturbance created here, and also one man was acting as though he was going to try to scale the wall, making several runs at it and all of this. Another diversionary tactic, it's assumed. And additionally, one man, I think, had a sprained ankle or something over here. But this guard spotted the escape over here and fired his shotgun, apparently hitting one of the men with 1 pellet, because he was later recaptured shortly thereafter, about 100 yards out in this area here and carried to the hospital and treated for a minor wound.
Now, this guard shack is much closer to the area where the men escaped. Now, what about this guard here?
Well, I understand this guard shack here is not normally maintained under normal circumstances. These were normal circumstances up to this point, of course.
Today, over 250 persons participated in the search of the rugged terrain of the East Tennessee mountains. At 10:30 this morning, bloodhounds gave a clue to the whereabouts of at least one escapee at a dried-up creek. Authorities then found a tennis shoe print believed to belong to inmate Larry Hacker. Still no sign of Ray. Then early this afternoon, 27-year-old David Powell was picked up near the Frozen Head Park. He did not resist arrest. Ralph Abernathy, a close associate of the late Dr. Martin Luther King, said the prison escape was a move to set Ray up to be destroyed. And a former attorney to the convicted murderer concurred with Abernathy's feelings.
There are people in the world, in my judgment, that would like very much for James Earl Ray to be dead, so he cannot testify before the congressional committee or in any court.
Ray has once again been put on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. Agency officials say if the search continues through the night, they will be using an infrared camera from the Knoxville police helicopter in an attempt to locate Ray and the other 4 escapees. For the WBIR News Center, this is Steve Bergen reporting. Governor Blanton has urged authorities to use restraint in capturing Ray and the 4 other escapees. Blanton said the extenuating circumstances regarding the congressional and other investigations of the Ray case make it imperative that Ray be returned to custody safely. The House Assassinations Committee echoed Blanton's feelings, saying their investigation into the death of Martin Luther King, Jr. would be difficult without Ray. A committee spokesman denied any knowledge of any conspiracy to break Ray out of prison. Ironically, Dr. Martin Luther King, Sr. was in Knoxville today. He was here for the installation of the minister of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church. The elder King arrived at the McGee-Tyson Airport shortly before 5 this afternoon under heavy security.
No, I won't. I have no comment, John. No comment whatsoever.
Are you afraid for your personal safety?
I have no comment. I have no comment at all.
The question Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. was being asked was his reaction to the Ray escape. News Center's Bob Selwyn will have the rest of today's news after this.